Get ready for some mind-blowing tidbits about ancient Egypt. First off, did you know that the ancient Egyptians used honey as a sweet treat and a medicine? They believed honey had magical healing properties. They even used it in embalming to preserve bodies. Sweet and spooky, right? Speaking of embalming, here's a weird one. Egyptians believed that the brain was useless. Yup, they thought it was just stuffing for the head. When preparing a body for mummification, they'd remove the brain through the nose and discard it. Meanwhile, the heart was carefully preserved because they thought it was the seat of intelligence. And get this, ancient Egyptian priests had to be super clean. They shaved off all their body hair to avoid lice and maintain ritual purity. That's dedication to hygiene and godliness. Here's something wild about Egyptian fashion. Both men and women wore makeup. They used kohl to line their eyes, not just for beauty, but to protect against the sun's glare. It also supposedly had magical properties to ward off evil spirits. Ever heard of the animal trial? In ancient Egypt, if an animal killed a person, it could be put on trial and sentenced to death. Ancient Egyptians were quite the pet lovers. Cats were considered sacred and kept as pets to protect homes from rats and snakes. If a household cat died, the family would shave their eyebrows in mourning. You might find this one hard to swallow. The Egyptians invented breath mints using myrrh, frankincense, cinnamon, and honey to combat bad breath. Pharaoh Pepi II had a unique way of dealing with flies. He would smear honey on his slaves to keep the flies away from him. Talk about a sticky situation. Let's talk about Egyptian curses. The tombs of pharaohs were often inscribed with curses to ward off grave robbers. One curse warned that robbers would be eaten by crocodiles and hippos. The Great Pyramid of Giza is the only one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world still standing. And here's a crazy fact. For over 3,800 years, it was the tallest man-made structure in the world. Here's a fact that's truly out of this world. Some theories suggest that the pyramids align with the stars in Orion's belt. Ancient Egyptian workers who built the pyramids were well-fed and had medical care. They weren't slaves, but skilled laborers. The idea of slaves building the pyramids is largely a myth. Here's a juicy tidbit. Cleopatra, the last pharaoh of Egypt, wasn't actually Egyptian. She was Macedonian Greek, but embraced Egyptian culture and even learned the language. The ancient Egyptians loved board games. One popular game was Senet, which dates back to around 3100 BCE. It's one of the oldest known board games, and even pharaohs were buried with their game sets to play in the afterlife. And finally, let's not forget about the ancient Egyptian calendar. It had 365 days, just like ours, but it was divided into 12 months of 30 days each, plus 5 extra days for holidays. So, how many of these crazy, wild, and fascinating facts about ancient Egypt did you know? Comment below. If you enjoyed this journey through time, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to Journey Across History Official for more incredible stories from the past.